Hello everyone, I'm Renown Zero and we are back again. It looks like we have some more things to discuss when it comes to promoting other creators and things of that nature, and people, essentially going after Eric July about things like the name change. That's not going to happen with ISOM after the frivolous garbage lawsuit that was thrown out. We also have some people out there who claim that Eric does not like the idea of crowdfunding, which he actually says it's 100% okay for people to do if that's what they need to do in order to fund their project and get their project made. But of course, some people have to go out of their way and constantly argue this idea that Eric doesn't approve of crowdfunding. We're going to start things off as we always do, showing the numbers for Alpha Core number one, the latest campaign from the Rippaverse. Over 20,000 books sold, less than 20,000 away from hitting that $1.2 million in sales, over 12,000 total purchasers. You can always go to the store and buy your Rippaverse merch. And I know I said in yesterday's video, Vito tried to pull this thing with the fire sale when he saw this. This has been like this for quite a bit now, which is fine. This is all merch from like the first campaign for ISOM 1, so it's kind of a normal thing for a business to put stuff on sale. Moving on over to Blade Devil 2, a current campaign that I love. I love the Blade Devil 1, as I always say. I will constantly promote this book up until the point when it comes out, and then when Blade Devil 3 is ready to launch and has launched, I will be promoting that as well. You obviously get a choice of 4 different covers. You can see some of the artwork here if you're into the more anime and manga style type of artwork and storytelling. This is the book for you. You will get 69 pages of story plus 2 supplemental stories here and here. You get your choices of cover A here, which you will receive a trading card for, cover B here, which you'll get a trading card for, cover C here, where you get a trading card for. You also have the option to get the limited summer wraparound cover, which is a little more, but again, this cover wraps all the way around the book, which is nice. You do get this card, and if you did sign up for the pre-launch like I did, you will be getting the physical, and back to physical perk, you will get this card as well. If you want to get in on Blade Devil 1, you have the option to spend $10. You can pick any cover you want, A, B, or C. Unfortunately, you will not get the foil from the original campaign like I did, but you still get in on this story of Ashiara by getting in on this Blade Devil campaign. Now, I did show off that this is the next one of the few books I will be getting in on next year, Super Plumber Sisters Chapter 2, right? Saying I'm already signed up. First book is a very good read. This will have a catch-up pack, I'm sure. I'm out here promoting this book as well because I think it's a pretty great, solid read, and people can get in. And of course, people always have their crappy opinions of it. You can have your opinion if it looks like crap, and I'm sure you're one of my haters. I already know that. That's kind of obvious. You're always on my posts like a loser. This right here is, of course, Vito saying you realize you're the crybaby child in this situation. Talking to, of course, the Bugle Daily, which, of course, he goes around and circumvents it. Rather than quote tweeting him, he'll screenshot it because you get no traction from it. You get nothing from it when he does it this way. And I said to him, you realize the Bugle Daily is actually funny, and I would consider him to be more of a comedian than the person claiming to be one. Hashtag when is super killer. Of course, Bugle Daily responds, he's a cool dude. Wouldn't have noticed if he didn't post this. He didn't even tag me, and I said, of course not. He knows how it works. Screenshot it like a pussy so you get nothing from it. As I already explained, this, of course, leading to Vito's quite obsessive nature when it comes to, again, the trademark lawsuit that Eric July clearly did not lose, because apparently losing is settling, which the outcome that people expected was that he would lose the ISOM name on his comic series and book, which he has specifically said plenty of times that it's not going to change. And this guy continues to push this idea that it's going to change. It's the same stupid idea that a certain amphibian decided to put out there plenty of times, and then it didn't come to pass, and now he's nowhere to be found. Following a settlement with the International School of Ministry, Eric July is being forced to change the name of his flagship comic series, ISOM. No, he's not. New concept art has emerged showing that the title change may come along with other changes as well. So you essentially are saying that ISOM is gay, I guess. Here you go. Branding of the name is name and nothing is changing. The name of the comic is changing. You really think that the comic is changing, even as the person who created the project is telling you that it's not. This is how delusional you are. And this is how much you are coping with the fact that he didn't lose. He didn't lose the supposed trademark that the ministry supposedly was protecting, right? Because they didn't have anything. They have an acronym versus a name of a character in a comic book, and they're two different types of branding, two different types of products, right? The name of the comic is changing. Please, Vito, please, for the love of God, stop coping, shut up, get back to work, and put out Super Killer for the people that have backed your product. Even though it's a complete slap in the face that you're going to release a free digital version of the book, right? Is an absolute slap in the face that you're going to be doing that while people are paying you tens of thousands of dollars to get your product. That I'm sure Yaira #1 and Gooding will probably be out before anyone has Super Killer in their hands. Dude, why are you making a giant post that basically tells all your followers that someone else lives rent free in your head? I'm not even in this mess, and it looks like this crap has you all turned around. Yes, the crappiness of this comic and its community provides me with endless entertainment. Yes, the crappiness of you coping and seething provides everyone else with endless entertainment. You want to say Super Killers Forever, meanwhile, it hasn't even come out yet, and you want to claim that you have a better comic book franchise. Meanwhile, you haven't put out a single book. Of course, you have Dark Nook saying the same thing. Eric can't wait to insert himself in this comic. I thought for sure that you guys claimed that Isa wasn't a self-insert, and now you're sitting here claiming that Eric is gay even though he's married to a woman. Congratulations. That's how dumb you are. Let's get it going. Win a Super Killer. That's all you need. Of all these flavors, and you choose to be salty. Of course, we have Organized Chaos, the guy who constantly cries about every more successful content creator than him. Objectively better. No, it's not objectively better. Your opinion is subjective, and Bob, your content is garbage, so you really have nothing to stand on. But we managed to get some hilarious clapbacks from Hypnotic. Shout out to Hypnotic. Shout out to Hypnotic. Check him out over on YouTube and on Twitter. He does a podcast every Saturday called Late Night Hypnosis, I believe it's called. Great dude. Says Vito, an avid lover of BBC, has a genuine obsession with Eric July. Perhaps it is a love of the black cock that drives his consistent latching onto the Rippaverse, or perhaps it's the jealousy of an independent black creator being able to promise and meet on deadlines without having to consistently delay his book as he siphons every little dollar he can before delivering on a subpar product. Obviously, he's referring to Super Killer. Perhaps in his quest to attain the massive black cock his homosexual desires, he will actually complete his book and get it into the hands of his 15 fans before 2027. Perhaps he is waiting till Pride Month to release his book. One honestly may never know. I do wish him luck on his attempts to attain the holy grail of big black cocks. He seemingly preferably needs to find solace in his life. Jesus. Jesus, is he still obsessed with Ripper? This is weird. Hypnotic should make a video destroying Vito. I'm sure there's plenty of video evidence for the roast. Yeah, there absolutely is plenty. There's plenty of stuff you can use to absolutely roast this weirdo. We have your favorite, of course, Mark Partia. For anyone that knows who that is, I actually said I will indeed ask permission to use this in my next video. Vito is one of those cancel pigs and detractors who target Eric July and Rippaverse. Not to mention there was a guy named Mark Partia, whines a lot about Eric July and thinks he can fix the problem. I said he's a genuine fan of what he's doing, but he's way too nitpicky. However, I'd rather see him make a comic at this point than Vito. Just that I see him tearing up, like I said, no, I haven't seen it. He already paid money for product anyway, and it's his opinion. He's entitled to it. You have other people like Dylan Corp here. His hot take, right, is Eric July and Rippaverse are proving themselves to be no better than the creators at Marvel and DC. In what way, right? In what way has Eric July ever told his customer base that they're trash? I'll give you the easy answer. Never. He actually shows appreciation for the people that buys his books and doesn't do weirdo crap like Tim Sheridan did with his gay Green Lantern book, where he's like, let's take it to the bigots. Let's take it to CG and back this book, even though no one bought it. Right? Nobody bought that garbage. Because nobody cares about mainstream garbage. They both have the exact same behavior towards the detractors, just on opposite spectrums. Eric, in my opinion, is the Mark Waid of the Iron Age. Mark Waid doesn't sell books. Mark Waid's name doesn't sell books. He's garbage. His writing is trash. Absolute trash. To where he says, do further explain. So I understand your measure of being no better is solely based on behavior towards detractors and nothing else. To which he says, I only buy like 1 or 2 comics a month as it is at $3.99 each. I'm not going to drop $20 or whatever for a comic that I've only heard drama or hype about. My money is precious. I want creators to create, and I want to know my money is well spent. Well, you would know if your money is well spent if you actually paid for the product. The fact that you're paying for $4 comics for trash paper and dog shit stories tells me a lot about how you spend your money. But I'm gonna say up here right away, you can spend your money on whatever you want. It's your money. You work hard for it. You spend it on whatever you want. Unlike the other side that you're on, that claims that if you spend money on Rippaverse, you're an idiot. So I'm not going to be that way. I never have been. My position on that has never changed. Not sure exactly what that has to do with Mark Waid. It's no different to me from Wade, Taylor, or Mags. All their books are trash and they don't sell. That's why they get canceled. Saying their books are amazing and showing tweets to prove their point. They monetize their haters just as you do. Different side, same coin. Now the people that praised those people's books don't actually buy them. They pirate them, or they sail the high seas for that. The people that praise Eric's books are actual customers that purchased the book and prove that they had the book. Now, I've had haters in the past, right? Talk about the books they buy and they have no proof. They don't show a backing of how much they spent. They don't show any books in their hand. They don't do any of that crap. Yet they claim to back things and don't have any receipts as to show them having said product that they backed. Corrected for a grammatical error, but from a different post to you. Shout out to Jeremy. Says, you sure about that? Right? That's what I have to say. Are you sure about that? Because I'm sure you're not. He's crying about these now when it gets better. That's pretty funny. Yeah. Okay. Sure. Anyway. And of course, we have one of our oldest detractors, Josh Friedmaster, who claimed to say that he's going to essentially remove and delete his Twitter account by the end of the year, right? A few thousand privileged adults buying tons of copies isn't winning. Because, let's go Alpha Core, right? We can't have any fun, according to the weirdo leftists. You can never have any fun. The non-existent Rippaverse collection is growing, showing all their stuff, showing that they actually support the product that they're talking about. To which I say, it turns out we're all privileged for buying Alpha Core. We should buy it some more, Bruce. Bruce being the most privileged out of all of us, eh? And I put a link to the Alpha Core campaign. Saying, is that the guy who's supposed to leave this app at the end of the year and blocks everyone? Yep, sure does. We're going to go over to here, though, because this person, Delmar, had this to say. Great business strategy. Bully out the competition that have less resources than you do. Sickening, right? That's what he said. And this is in response to J Bomba fan, who had this to say, right? He says, hey, Dick, most have no choice but to crowdfund and are doing it the best they can. It's not their fault that you can't handle criticism of any kind. No, he doesn't handle... It's not that he doesn't handle criticism. He doesn't take criticism from someone that either pirated the book, didn't read the book, and essentially called him a scam artist or said he was doing charity fraud for months on end. Like Dick Masterson's garbage notes that made absolutely no sense, considering that the questions he asked from the notes, as I say this all the time when I mention this, people who have read the book can understand and saw that the answers were in the book. People had to correct him and tell him, this was in the book. You asked questions that were answered in the book. So clearly it's a you problem that you couldn't understand what you were reading. Other people can, right? Other people can, clearly. And again, I say this all the time. This man said, Isom putting his hand on Jasmine's shoulders was akin to assault. I will never let Dick Masterson live that garbage down. Ever. I want to support you, but you're still acting like a bitch. Stop. We want to like you. Well, if you wanted to like Eric July, right? Which this is a stupid statement for you to make in the first place. You would actually watch the video and understand what he said. So, because you don't understand what he said, right? Let's pull up the clip that Rippaverse Goalpost was so nice to pull up for us. Shout out to Rippaverse Goalpost for always being available and there to bring up the proof of what Eric said. So over here he says, you did not watch the video. If you did, then you would hear Eric July acknowledge the necessity of crowdfunding for some creators. It does not appear that as though you want to like Eric by the disrespectful words you direct at him. The pre-orders are not a threat to crowdfunds. Let's listen. Let's take a listen to what Eric July had to say about crowdfunds.
Everybody can do that, right? Not everybody can do that. I am totally aware of that, that there is a reason why there is a crowd fund, right? It's for some people, they are needing to fund the project, and the only way that project can be funded is if people, of course, give money to them, and that's that model. So that makes sense for some people. That makes sense for a lot of folks who are not going to be able to finish their product. Everybody.
Oh my God, if only you would have listened to this video and heard this right here. But of course, the first thing you do is what every normal dummy that watches YouTube does. Now, I'm not saying you're a dummy. I'm saying normal people who look at thumbnails and they just respond to what a thumbnail says rather than listening and watching the video. That's what you did. You looked at this thumbnail and you didn't even bother watching the video. You just immediately responded with this. And as you should. You got absolutely destroyed in the comments, as you should. You're that guy that only reads headlines. That's exactly what he did. Dyer, like the majority of people, but I've listened to several streams and vids, some of which he has since taken down, some of which he has put under members only, like he always does, that are telling. Like I said, I want to like him, but he can't keep his foot out of his mouth, while at the same time talking out the side of your neck on EVS live streams, always talking shit, right? You want to like him, yet you're consistently talking shit on EVS's streams. Because I've seen some streams where you were just talking shit the whole time. It's pretty clear he's not attacking crowdfunding. He's saying deliver when promised, and if something comes up to prevent it, give detailed, frequent updates and deliver ASAP. More bad faith arguments. Ethan tells me it don't exist, though. Eric has even said before that crowdfunding may be the best option for some people. If he is anti-crowdfunding, then why has he been supportive of crowdfunders like Drunk 3PO, Razorfist, Mike Barron, Irene, etc.? Make it make sense. You're never going to make it make sense to people that don't want to understand your enemy's or your opponent's position. Keep being disingenuous. Okay, I'll be here when you open your eyes. We'll be here. Shout out to Bruce. We'll be here when you actually watch the video and get some context. I'll be hilariously watching you realize how asinine your post was. He won't do it because he wants to be outraged, clearly. Oh no, Eric July won't be able to keep doing it if you don't like him. Right? It's very mainstream of Eric. Tissue? Simple, gotta follow simple. This hits close to home. I'm a year overdue. We don't mind the time as long as you produce the best comic you can. Speak for yourself, because a lot of people are getting sick and tired of waiting 2+ years for a book just because you want to improve my quality and make sure it's my best product ever. And then you sit up here and you continue to make more crowdfunds while not completing your previous crowdfunds. Bruce continuing to say he's not insulting crowdfunding. He's critiquing those that crowdfund without a coherent plan. Then in turn damage supporters and the system further with late books. Go ahead and just read headlines though. And before you tell me how much you've watched of his, I've watched more. I believe that. The fact that you took this as an insult just shows how childish you are. How about you actually watch the video and stop having this temper tantrum? Based on your jump to conclusion, I don't think you genuinely do want to support the Rippaverse. My guy, I watched the entire 10-minute video and can't find a single place where he said you shouldn't crowdfund or that it's bad. Crowdfund if you like, but deliver. That's the point. Some of these comic crowdfunders go 3 to 6 months without updates. It makes the whole industry look bad. Alec Baldwin's fingers, hilarious. Less whining, more hustle. He never said anything to the contrary. He was responding to someone saying he's a threat for crowdfunding. He was defending his own business model. In addition, most of the bigger CG creators have more than enough to not utilize the crowdfund model too. I can say the exact same thing about your Lord and Savior, EVS. He never said crowdfunding was bad, but sure, go off. Ripper is a, quote, threat because crowdfunding cannot keep up with the market demand. Creators like Ethan, Malin, and even Boom Studios poisoned the well of crowdfunding by 1, fulfilling years late, 2, unprofessional behaviors toward their own backers, and 3, not fulfilling at all. Yeah, I waited 2 years for Cyberfrog 2. I waited 2 years, almost 3 years, till I got my full Berserker, all 3 volumes. You even have Tiny but Fierce. He has never downed on crowdfunding. Not in this video, and not when he was ripping everything ridiculous apart on his regular YouTube channel. You didn't watch the video, did you? All we have, choice to deliver, books on the time frame they were sold. By the way, I'm just reading the tweet. That was what Eric July was discussing. Rippaverse delivering books as promised hurts no one. Creators being years late on books while still funding new projects hurts the entire crowdfunding industry. The problem isn't the crowdfunding, it's the failure to produce in a timely manner after taking the supporters' money. If a campaign says it will be complete 6 months from the campaign, but 2 years later there's still no product, that hurts all other crowdfunders. You are literally getting roasted by anyone who's watched Eric, bro. You look silly. You look silly because you took a position without even watching the content. Sad to see him hate on crowdfunding. That has brought us all some great things. He didn't, though. You're another one of those that didn't watch the video. I don't want to like him. He's been whiny way before making comics. Speaking of which, this comic looks boring. No dynamism, or flash to catch the eye. Just no looking black dude in an orangey brown and black costume. Okay, it's your opinion. You're allowed to have it. Can you point to where Eric criticized crowdfunding in and of itself? No, he cannot. I've come to the conclusion that he doesn't care. He actually does. You gotta watch the video. One, whatever he's doing isn't crowdfunding. Indie creator, nonetheless, his methodology is an hybrid store with pre-orders and crowdfunding site. The product is basically completed by the time the campaign's open, which defeats the purpose of crowdfunding. Yeah, Eric hasn't crowdfunded a single thing. He's had the product ready to go, put in his own money to pay for the product. And it just goes on and on and on. Clearly, almost every single person, about 99% of the people in this thread have told you that you sound silly because you didn't watch the video. It's absolutely pathetic. Right? It seems as if you want to intentionally be disingenuous and ignore what he's saying. Again, shout out to Bruce. You should be expected to have a plan, a reasonable timeline, a portion of the work done, and realistic expectations. Late books are a cancer that turns away future support. Of course, he likes to bring in an actual good point that Vickyverse brings up about late books. Just because she brings up a good point and you don't like this person doesn't mean that Bruce is incorrect. He's correct in saying that late books will hurt future support and people who want to support indie projects. Eric brought us here and we sought out indies to support as well. Many of these indies turned us away with this attitude. Late books are a cancer and damage the sector. The arrogance of many of you are pushing us to just save our money. Doesn't matter how you got to the indies. If Eric has a problem with someone, his blanket statements hurt more the innocent creators than those it was intended. It was a bitch made move. Said the name of who you're targeting, and when he gets called out, movie videos gay. People like yourself are doing more damage to indies than anyone. Many Rippaverse customers are not from the indie scene. We're his customers he brought here or returned because of him. Seeing your arrogance and lack of humility is off-putting and makes me want to back less. And this is what this type of nonsense creates. People who want to support indie projects less. Which is why I always say, work on your own stuff and stop trying to be involved in other drama. Which is why I like Tyler. Which is why I like Infinitail. Which is why I like Magic Gal. None of those people are involving themselves in drama. They're just simply working on their stuff. And giving frequent updates, too. He had this whole conversation which ended in, I don't read comics to begin with, but man, it's like, God, I don't even want to go through this. I'm just going to finish the video off with this. Which is why I say people are weird and do very gay things. Here comes the avalanche videos. Long form video. I watched this. It's very, very homosexual. And again, this person is one of those people that tries to ankle bite and latch on to people more successful because you dislike the person. Meanwhile, this person did nothing to you. This whole thing is one-sided, as Eric July would always say. It's one-sided beef where people feel like they always have to have something to say negatively towards somebody because they disagree with them. So at the end of the day, if you're going to lash out at people, watch the content before you lash out at people. And if you're an indie creator, focus more on your project rather than other people's drama, as you would call it. Stop involving yourself in other people's stuff and focus on finishing up your projects before talking your nonsense. Thank you all for checking out this video. I really do appreciate all new subscribers, returning subscribers, new viewers, and returning viewers. If you do like this video, though, hit that like button and comment below what you feel about all of this. Subscribe for more content and hit the bell for notifications. Set the bell to all. That way you'll get every notification whenever I post a new video or live stream, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.